Welcome to the stream. We'll get started in a second. Welcome. All right. I might need a Red Bull. I just might need a Red Bull. And I need a less creaky mic. Logitech, sponsor me and give me a mic. Red Bull and coffee bright and early. I forgot my mic was muted there for a second. Good morning from Oklahoma. What's going on? Good morning. The meteorologist kid. What's going on? What's going on? We'll get started here in a second. Do I do another Red Bull? 2 Red Bulls and a coffee before 7:30 in the morning? What do you guys think? I'm thinking about it. There are flurries or snow showers in Long Island. There could be. I mean, there's flurries all across the East Coast right now. You can see it right here. Yep. We got a little bit of definitely flurries moving into Long Island. I just wouldn't expect accumulation. State College got some good snow moving into it, potentially. Just to the northeast of Pittsburgh, you've got upstate New York's getting some flurries up there. Could get a little bit. Chicago's getting more snow. So it'll be interesting to see how that piles up as well. It'll be very interesting to see how that piles up. Let's get this a little bit smaller so I can show more here. 1 second, guys. Yeah. But here's the latest from the Euro. Snow expectancies moving forward here. GFS is out. Let's look at our Canadian. What's our Canadian think snow-wise? Our Canadian thinks we're going to maybe get a little bit of snow down through Kansas City, out towards St. Louis. I don't know. Not impossible. But yeah, that's kind of what the Canadians seeing. And then we take a look at our European AI. European AI actually likes more snow into the Ohio Valley at the end of this run, which is interesting. National blend of models. 12Z's coming out right now, so we're not going to see much. But so there you go. All right, well, we're going to go over kind of what we're expecting here moving forward. I just released a video today going over my December forecast. And if you guys want, I will go through that entire December forecast. It continues to look like we have the potential, if the pattern holds and sets up correctly, like we have the potential to see more snowfall in this December than we've seen in 5, maybe 10, maybe 15 years. So we'll go over that in a second. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back and we'll get started. And not just maybe for the East Coast, maybe for the West Coast as well. A lot of times our weather in the U.S., by the way, favors East or West. If it's cold out East, it's warm out West. If it's warm out West, it's cold. Or if it's cold out West, it's warm out East. And that's because how troughs and ridge set up, basically, my son's screaming. How troughing and ridging sets up you're usually not going to have a huge wide trough that covers the entire United States. It moves through or picks a section, and depending on what happens with our teleconnections, whatnot. But if you have a big polar vortex break, a good MJO phase, you can just get cold from coast to coast and snow from coast to coast. So there's a potential for that too. So we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to go over all of it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back, and then we're going to get started here. Probably just a minute or two. We're going to get started. All right. Good morning, everyone. What's going on, Tufts? floor in here. All right, guys, I'm back. Oh my God, did my mic just turn off? Oh, crap. Anyways, I'm going to start off by going over our, let me repeat myself. I'm going to start off by going over our December forecast. December looks very cold on our best models. Our best models aren't always right. Is there the possibility of this being a warm, dry, no snow December? 100%. I think the probability of that is very low. We have a very promising MJO phase. We have a negative PDO. We have warmer waters through portions of the WPO, Northern Pacific, and Atlantic. Our ice snow cover up north is looking good. Polar vortex, slow break, looks very likely end of November, mid to end of November. So it's really hard, you know. But again, like our CFS model sees a warm and dry December, but again, the MJO phase and all these other teleconnections, and none of them favor that. So why these CFS models says that, I honestly don't know, but we'll entertain it. I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen. I've said from the beginning, I think we're going to have a kind of brutal winter up front, cold and snowy winter up front. And I'm not really sure what the second half of winter is going to look like. Typically, most winters are the tale of two winters. If you're really cold up front, you typically warm up in the back end. If you're really warm in the front end, you typically get cold in the back end. It's just how the climate works. It tries to correct itself through the winter season. So I love front end cold winters though, because I like the odds. I want to have a white Christmas. And so for me, I'd rather be cold in the beginning than the end. By the end, listen, by February and March, I'm perfectly fine with it warming up, but I don't want it to be warm and dry in December. Anyways, we're going to go over it. I'll keep my bias out of it. We're going to go over it, and then I'll do a little bit of a forecast, what's coming up here, and then I'll get to everyone's questions. Can you guys hear everything okay? You made coffee at like 4 a.m. this morning? Welcome to my life. Every morning. What's going on? Purple cat. I still don't know why you chose that name. Do you have a purple cat? Let's see here. Yeah, I prefer cold weather in general. Snow is a plus. Yeah, same with me. I grew up in Florida for 24 years. I don't like the heat and humidity. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I'm gonna start a forecast. I did just release this video. I did just post this video, my December forecast. So if you miss anything here, you can just see it on my YouTube, okay? But we're gonna go over it. If you guys want to know why I wear a hat every morning, for two reasons. My office gets very cold, and also I roll out of bed and just get on my computer and start posting and go live. So I prefer a hat. Look at my hair. Look at my hair, guys. Oh my gosh. Talk about bedhead. And now I'm all nice and warm. All right. Anyways, let's get into the December forecast. Lots of things to look at here. And I don't know why I closed out of everything earlier. Anyways, we'll start with NOAA. We'll start with good old National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Wow, put the hat back on? I know. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It would only take me about 3 seconds to just put water in my hair and make my hair not look messy, but I'm always in a rush in the morning, so I don't really care. All right. 3-week temperature outlook from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We're talking about November 22nd to December 5th. Cold from coast to coast, except for portions of the southern plains and southeast, and above average moisture for everyone except for a small slither of the southeast. That's what they're expecting. I think this is going to extend farther into the second and third week of December. I think we're going to continue the cold trend. Sometimes cold moves in. Sometimes you get waves of cold. It moves in for a week. It moves in for 3 to 4 days. It moves out. It moves in for 3 to 4 days. It moves out. Sometimes you get a pattern in winter where the jet stream collapses and it says, I'm good. I'm going to sit here for a while. And you just get a stretch of below average. We're talking about 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 weeks where you're just below. You never get up. You never get back to your average temperature. And you're cold and you're snowy. Those are more rare because you typically see the variation in your jet stream, but that possibility is setting up here, okay? As you can see here, okay? That possibility is setting up. So let's start with... God, our MJO is so important. Let's start with our MJO. Let's start with our MJO. Okay. Here we go. Latest MJO forecast, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know, Madden-Julian oscillation, when we get into phase 8, phase 1 in December, in winter, very cold for the United States, typically from coast to coast. But I'll get into what the analogs look like in a second. I actually have them pulled up somewhere right here. MJO, not MJO forecast there, MJO composites. Let's pretend like we're in December right now. There you go. Notice phase 8, extremely cold for most people. And look who it favors. The plains, mid-Atlantic, northeast, midwest. And then getting into phase 1, you guys can't really see that. Let's move that over. Getting into phase 1 up there, also, let's go back to December. Getting into phase 1 up there, also, look at this. Just a very cold, coast to coast. Now, who does this favor? Phase 1, who does that favor? Based on our significance. Well, that favors the northern plains, the Midwest, portions of upper New England, and then actually, yeah, I mean, cold-wise, that favors out here, California coast, Nevada, and then upper Midwest, northern plains and Midwest, and then portions of the Ohio Valley as well. But it's typically colder for most of the U.S. So MJO is really important. We are right here. Well, we're probably like right here because it's November 11th, and they're not accounting for it. Or this is a day outdated. Okay, so what's expected? Well, as we get into December, suddenly we're in phase 7. What does phase 7 look like as we get into the beginning of December? If we go back here, what does our phase 7 look like? Well, our phase 7 starts to get cold. Why do you think, mixed with our weak La Nina, this makes sense, and a negative PDO, why do you think NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, has a very similar graphic to this, temperature-wise? November 22nd to December 5th. MJO phase. Weak La Nina. Good setup here for cold. So, again, end of November, beginning of December. Who does it like? The Midwest? I mean, really just the East. Let's just draw a line there. It likes the East. Everyone out East. Except for maybe far South Florida. Everyone out East likes cold weather in. Below average. When I say cold, it's always cold in December. I'm talking about, when I say cold, I'm talking about below normal temperatures. Below average. All right. And then what happens as we get into mid-December? Ooh, we're pushing into phase 8. Now, this latest update has the MJO de-amplifying a little bit. We'll see. It doesn't. It's hard to tell amplification out here. It's already hard to tell how quickly this is going to be moving, but it's still somewhat amplified if we're out here. Phase 8 of the MJO, mid-December. Again, what does that mean? We just looked at it. Cold weather for the East. Significant, and there's significance to this cold weather as well. Again, when we look back over here, man, the Northeast specifically. Look at you guys, right? Big trigger for you guys. This is what I'm talking about. Plus 180 betting line for a major nor'easter in December, maybe before Christmas. Plus 180 betting line. I'd bet on it. I'm about 40% confident in it. I'm going to go over 50% if this trend continues over the next week. So that's what's going on there. Taking a look at some of our, and don't worry, I'm going to get to your questions in a second, guys. Let me just finish this up real quick. Take a look at our European weeklies. Bunch of fun stuff to look at here. Let's go to North America. Let's go to Heights. Emmanuel, as always, I appreciate you. $5 super chat. Being a Hoosier and hearing Ohio Valley makes my blood boil. What do you want me to call it? Hoosier Alley? Well, Hoosier Alley is a thing. It's one of the tornado alleys. You've got Carolina Alley, Dixie Alley, Tornado Alley, and Hoosier Alley. But Hoosier Alley is just Indiana. That doesn't include the other states. Sorry, I didn't make up the name, Emmanuel, but I appreciate you. But here we go. 500 millibar height anomalies. Why do we care about the 500 millibar level, guys? That's where our jet stream is. Our jet stream controls if we're cold or warm. That's what transfers the cold air from the north to the south. Look at this as we push through mid-November. A little bit warm out east. We're gonna have a warm up. Don't be upset by that if you like cold air. It's gonna be a little warm. We get into the end of December or end of November. What starts happening? Well, suddenly now our models think we're gonna have some blocking up in Greenland. We're gonna have some ridging up in Alaska. We're gonna have some troughing out in the east. Talk about a recipe for snow out east as we push into December. And now sometimes this just changes, right? You get there and it changes. It holds. It holds. The pattern holds. The pattern holds. The pattern holds. Do you see what I'm saying? This could be an extended period of cold and an extended winter storm track for the east, including potentially mid-Atlantic, coastal New England. This is the latest European weekly. It's a weekly. It's extended. Extended forecasts aren't as good as short term, but it's the only way that we can, take a look at it's the only way we can create an outlook. Just Midwest, fine, I can do that. I appreciate you, Emmanuel. Just Midwest. Emmanuel's a super chat king over here on YouTube. All right, so that's promising. Obviously, that's promising. Now, pushing out towards Canadian seasonal temperature, monthly anomalies, December. Listen, the Canadian, out of all of our ensembles, out of all of our extended ensembles, did the best last year in terms of its outlooks for temperature-wise for the winter seasons. Here's that being said, here's the Canadians' outlook for December. So cold northwest, cold northern Rockies, and then really most of the east is cold, potentially except for the southeast. This isn't a lock. This is the trend. This is the trend right now. So that's very interesting. We already know what's happening up in our stratosphere, and I continue to show you guys this. There hasn't been a change on this, but if we go up to our stratosphere, which is extremely important, because when we talk about big scary polar vortex, we're not talking about the tropospheric polar vortex. We're talking about the stratospheric polar vortex. You guys know, coldest air on the planet is up in the Arctic in the northern hemisphere. Our air up in the northern hemisphere is much colder. Not much, but it's colder than the air down in the southern hemisphere. So going back up to northern hemisphere, moving through mid-November, towards the end of November, there's this. Let's get a 00Z. There's that. This would be a major polar vortex break near the end of November. When could this displace cold air down into the States? Early to mid-December, because there's a little bit of a lag with the stratospheric polar vortex. So you could have some of this cold air displaced and then suddenly rotating around the lower latitudes. Interesting. Now, let me show you something that people might not want to see. The CFS. Wait, did the CFS just update this? Okay, well, when did they update this? Did the CFS finally get on board with... This is... Okay, we're live. Did the CFS finally just get on board with... This is... monthly temperature anomaly. We in the CFS? Okay, well, there you go. The CFS now agrees with the Euro. There you go. CFS and Euro now agree. Cold. For December. Below average. The CFS was showing above average and dry for December. This is why I watched the Euro, because you figure the CFS is going to hop on board with the Euro. There you go. I swear to God, I swear I was looking at this last night. The CFS was still not on board. There you go. Monthly temperature anomaly, CFS. Told you I'm not making this stuff up. Now the CFS is on board. I was looking at CFS saying, man, maybe the CFS can be correct sometimes. Maybe it's a warm December. Nothing's pointing towards a warm December. Looks like the CFS agrees that the CFS, this is the CFS saying, I've been delusional for the last 2 weeks. Okay, there you go. Seasonal. Let's look at the seasonal CFS. December, January, February. This is what it thinks the winter will look like temperature-wise. Below average temperatures for this area. This winter. That's what the CFS thinks. And then over the next, and then November, January, December, January as well. Very weak La Nina look. And I think the MJO is kind of influencing this a little bit. Let's see. Did the CFS update its monthly... Let's see. Did it update its monthly? I'm almost done, guys, and I'm going to take questions. Like, literally 60 more seconds. Did it update its monthly 500 millibar height anomalies as well? Yeah, look at that. There it is. There it is. Some potential Greenland blocking. It's a little bit east of Greenland. Major Alaskan ridging, and look at this troughing out east. There you go. CFS is on board. CFS is on board with the Canadian now. That's actually a very big development. And look at that. The Euro as well. The Euro seasonal now is even on board. There you go. So we have all of our extendeds, ensembles, seasonal, agreeing on this cold stretch. Snowier than north. Okay, so, man, I wish I had seen that before I made my video this morning. I should have waited like another hour to make my video, and I would have had the updated CFS. Terrible at my job. Anyways, so that's what's going on. You guys can ask questions here. I guess the last thing I'll just show you is super quickly the latest Euro outlook. We got some, we're gonna have our cold air trough snow moving out here as we move into Wednesday, Thursday. A little bit of a warm up in the plains, potentially out east as we get into this weekend. Don't be like, oh god, it's hot. Winter's gone. It's gonna be a terrible winter. No, we got another push of cold air moving in probably early next week into the northern plain or upper Midwest, New England, Mid-Atlantic. It's going to try to bring a little bit of cold rain and snow inland into the higher elevations. Potential severe weather outbreak next week. We're going to have to watch this. A little bit of a shortwave trough ejecting off through the plains. And then the west gets really cold here. And this is what I'm talking about with the kind of mid to late November cool down out west and warm up out east. We're going to be people out. I know the next 2 weeks I'm going to have tons of people in my comments in my live saying, you said it was going to be cold. And I'm going to just wait. End of November. Wait for December. Everything's showing it. Not just that. Take a look at our teleconnections and MJO cycle and Enzo. Everything's. I don't need to look at the models to understand that. But here you go. This is going to be good for the West because they might have a little bit of a warmer stretch as they get into maybe end of December, January. But I don't know. The West could also be pretty cool, like I said, for December. Tons of moisture out West. Tons of moisture out West as we get into November 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. I mean, big stretch there. 6 to 10 days of precipitation, high elevation snow, maybe even some low elevation snow. We're trying to see some snow get down here through the plains, maybe into Arizona, New Mexico, some cold air troughing. So interesting, very variable pattern over the next 2 weeks. And then we might have that cold air lock in. The Euro, I will also say this. I know I'm talking too long. The GFS does show potentially a similar system to what we just had this weekend. Look at this. Maybe Omaha, Des Moines, Minneapolis, Chicago, snow, New England, and then another big burst of snow there. The end of this run on the GFS looks very cold and snowy again for the East. So, all right, let's get into it. What's going on, guys? What do we think? What are the questions? What are the questions? Now that it's cold, are we done with tropical cyclones? We're probably done with tropical cyclones. I can answer your question pretty quickly. I mean, we have a lot of sinking air out in the tropics. Sinking air is not good for tropical development. Take a look at the latest CFS. Does it see anything? Absolutely nothing. Nothing there. The GFS is something. The GFS will sniff out any little possibility and show it. So if the GFS doesn't see anything, there's probably not going to be anything happening. GFS does okay long range with the tropics. Minnesota, latest Euro. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota, we're going to have a brief little warm-up here for, I would say, at least 10 days. Watch the end of the third into the fourth week of November and beginning of December. I think Minnesota, specifically the northern plains and upper Midwest, are going to have a really good December, yeah. I don't think we're going to get any major snowstorms, but I think once December hits, at least through the first week of December, we're going to get a ton of clippers up in the northern plains, up in New England, upper Midwest, Michigan, meaning we're going to get maybe every 3 to 4 days a snowstorm that drops 3 to 5 inches of snow. I don't expect a big snowstorms. I think are gonna try to line up for December and January out here, where you have one storm that drops like 20 to 30 inches of snow. We're gonna have tons of clippers up here, which is why most of our analogs had above average snow. Most of our good analogs have above average snow. I think in Minneapolis, Chicago, Milwaukee is gonna have a really good snow. Is gonna do really good snow ice this winter. 400 people in here. 11 new followers. I appreciate you guys. Marissa, Jasmine, Catho. I don't know how to say that. Kayla, Gemini, Dawn. Guys, for those of you who don't know, I post weather updates, forecast outlooks every single morning, typically before 7:30 in the morning, and then I always get on in live stream. So I appreciate you being here. Appreciate the support, guys. Thank you. Kentucky snow. Again, if we go and we look back towards... Oh, this is something else that I didn't even bring up. Check out the precipitation anomaly. Check this out. Look at the precipitation anomaly, okay? For winter, December, January, February. Look at the updated precipitation anomaly from the Euro. Are you guys in this region? If you are in that circled region, the Euro expects you to have, for this winter, below average temperatures and above average precipitation. Can anyone in chat tell me if this were to happen? This is what the trend is. If this were to happen, what does below average temperatures and above average precipitation typically lead to? Pete, snow. Exactly. That's what you want to see. The green area is the European model saying, hey, I think through the months of December to February, which is winter, right here. Meteorological winter is December 1st to February 29th. Why am I having a 28th? Why did my brain just shut down for a second? Okay, 28 or 20. I'm not going crazy. I was like, that's the month. Okay, sorry guys, whatever. I know a lot of information, but there's some common sense stuff that my brain just pushes out sometimes. Okay, 28th or 29th. Yes, so this is the European model saying, hey, we think for our peak winter months, we're going to have more precipitation than average in these regions. And what does our European anomaly say for our temperature in these regions? For, let's go to seasonal. So for seasonal, now our Euro is a bad one to look at because our Euro never shows cold. It basically shows, you can see here it has a little cold here. So let's take a look at if we were to go to our weekly. Our weekly is going to show that for us. So this is, let's push out as we get into December. December through the whole month of December out. This is the month of December. Cold. We can even push out 46 days. Pretty cold. Pretty cold for much of the country. Maybe you get a little bit, the Euro thinks maybe a little bit of a warm up through the plains as we get into early January. We'll see. Taking a look at our, let's go to Euro seasonal heights, 500 millibar height anomaly. This is December. Let's look at our seasonal anomaly. Our seasonal anomaly, here you go. This would be Alaskan ridging, Greenland blocking, cold air, potentially a cooler than average U.S. So, again, above average precipitation, below average temperatures. Don't be confused because the Euro doesn't show any blue, any kind of troughing when you're looking at the seasonals and the monthly anomalies, when you're looking at the European seasonal. Let's see here. I want to take a look at... There's your CFS, seasonal anomaly. And this is kind of what the European is suggesting too. So below average temperatures in this region. Below average temperatures in this region. And again, precipitation, above average precipitation in these regions for December. Will New York get a lot of snow? I think New York's going to have one or two big snowstorms that drop. I think New York's going to hit its average or be above average because of one or two nor'easters. I don't think you're going to get frequent snow. I think you're going to get one or two big snowstorms. I do. Cold anomalies in the North Pacific subpolar as well. SST. 29th is that's my birthday. It still exists. Yeah, okay, that's the leap year day, right? Our weather guy said 18 to 23 inches in DC. Would you change anything with that? No, I think that's reasonable. I think what are your DC averages? Like 12 inches or something like that? 10 inches or something like that? I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10 inches. DC snow yearly average. Okay, I was a little bit off. 13, about 13 to 14 inches. Yes, average to slightly above average. I think yes, 100% that could be right for DC. I think you guys might only end up with one snowstorm this year or two, but I expect a nor'easter to pop out here somewhere. We're gonna have too much. There's gonna be too much opportunity for it not to happen. Appreciate the follows, guys. Thank you. To all 19 people who followed me, I love you. I love you. Pete, someone with the boat. Wait, what's this? I don't know what this is. Someone else who sent me a rose. Thank you. I don't know. There's no name. GG, Mike. I appreciate you. Above or below average snow in Rhode Island. Again, coastal New England, coastal mid-Atlantic. I expect a big nor'easter to pop off this year. I'm putting it at plus 120 odds for a major nor'easter this year, which is very good on an outlook. If you know how to bet, you know what that means. What is Mo looking like? Missouri. Missouri's looking like potentially average to above average precipitation and below average temperature. So you tell me. Could be a decent winter. I'm doing more of a winter battleground in there. I think it's going to be a tale of two winters. You're going to have your jet stream probably split in that state. So I think average is the best bet, an average winter, but there's the possibility of an above average winter, especially if you go by our Euro, which thinks above average precipitation for you in the winter months there in Missouri. You know, better chances central to northern Missouri because this isn't an El Nino, it's a La Nina. I'd include St. Louis in that. Western Maryland. Yeah, I mean, Western Maryland, again, you're expecting above average precipitation, below average temperatures for the winter months. So if we get a good nor'easter, you're going to be affected by that as well. I heard the Mid-Atlantic are the battleground states for snow. I wouldn't even really call it battleground. I wouldn't call it battleground for the Mid-Atlantic. You're going to get rain or you're going to get snow, but it's not going to be this like push and pull constantly with the ice mixed in between. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think there's going to be a extended period of time, 2 to 3 weeks in December, and then maybe 2 weeks in January, where everything heading there wants to be snow. I wouldn't consider it a battleground. Battleground is where it's like every time a storm passes, it's either snow, a mix, or ice. Or I think it's clearly going to be rain, or it's clearly going to be snow for the Mid-Atlantic, and we'll know what months that's happening in. Eastern Pennsylvania, yeah, kind of just explain that. We want our warm weather back in the south. Oh, I know. It's so cold down there right now. What are the temperatures down in the south? You guys suffering? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Oh, come on. It's not that cold down in Florida. Come on. It's 39 degrees in Tampa, 38 in Orlando. We're freezing in Tallahassee, 32 degrees. Come on. 49 degrees in Miami. It's not that bad. No, that's very cold. Florida set all sorts of records today. What's going on here? Oh, look at that. He's in the he's in the mountains, southwestern North Carolina. Look at that, guys. Nice snowfall up there in the mountains of North Carolina. Beautiful. Beautiful, good old Appalachia. Love it. Love it. Feels like 26 in Atlanta. I mean, it basically is 26 in Atlanta. It's 30 degrees. Look, 28, 30 degrees in Atlanta. So it probably feels like even colder than that in Atlanta. Is that what it says your feels like is? I'd expect your feels like to be even lower than that. I would. If I'm being honest. Let's take a look at our European weekly 46-day snowfall expectancy here. It's a lot of snow, guys, for the States. European weekly, that's who it thinks could see snow before Christmas. Odds go way up if you're at least in the blue and north. This is a very aggressive snow outlook before Christmas. Probably the most aggressive I've seen in 10 years. Colorado getting snow soon. The West is cooling down again very soon. We were just looking at that. The West is finally, we're going to get some snow back out there. Take a look at the 0-0Z of the Euro. And you could get a little snow up in the mountains here as we get into Sunday and Monday, this upcoming Sunday and Monday. But right there, boom. Next week, next Monday to Friday, out west, we could get some troughing, some really good snow. Some really good snow, not just high elevation, potentially low elevation. Talking about the eastern plains, Colorado. This is pretty promising. 200 plus hours out, we'll see, but I like the odds of some good snow out through the central to southern Rockies next week. Appreciate the follows, guys. They said it would start raining and then end snow for the DC area. I don't know. I think DC. I think we're gonna get a big snowstorm out east along the coast in December. That's what my gut's telling me based on everything we're looking at here, atmospheric wise. Desi, Kayla, Andrea. Also, the longer you go through these snow droughts, which not everyone, portions of Maryland actually got back to their snow averages last year, but most of the coastal Mid-Atlantic and New England have been in a snow drought. The longer you go through a snow drought, the better odds you have each year getting out of that snow drought. Look at Japan, who had a major snow drought. I forget where it was, that portion of Japan that had a major snow drought for like 10 years, and then they got blasted with like 80 inches of snow over 4 days. Eventually, it corrects itself. 100-year averages typically get back to normal. Let's just say that. Your 100-year average in Philly is 18 inches per year. That's what you're expected to get. You've been way under that. You're going to get back to your 100-year average. How about South Jersey? And by the way, people have said, oh, well, the Earth's warming. Well, guess what? The more the Earth warms, the more moisture that's in the atmosphere. So it snows more the more moisture that's in the atmosphere, and it's not warming to the point where we're not going to be below freezing in Philly for stretches through winter. The warming is 0.1 degree every 50 years, 20 years. You're not going to be over an average. You're not going to be, the warming isn't going to push the snow line up. So any sort of, the snow line's not going to be pushed up by the warming very, very significantly, but there's going to be more moisture in the atmosphere, so expect more snow. Now, if you're down in the southeast areas that hardly see snow, sometimes that can affect you, but not really. The moisture moisture also cools as it moves through, so I think the moisture outweighs. I think we'd expect bigger snowfalls moving forward, although it's a very slow process, so I don't really expect any major changes in the short term here. It's not snowing in South Texas, right? Well, it's not impossible, but I don't have anything that shows that right now. That's a tough outlook right now. Andrea, Destiny, I appreciate you. Yeah, guys, I just put my December outlook and my updated winter forecast on my YouTube if you want to go see that. I've been really pushing on YouTube. That's where I'm posting my full videos. My full videos on YouTube. My shorts are on my other platforms. Are we trending to get snow in southern Louisiana for a second year in a row? Big polar vortex break in December, so maybe. But it's never, your odds are never high for snow in southern Louisiana, okay? That's typically a once in a 30-year type of occurrence. Not impossible. Why does the CFS model want snow into the south this early? Like, it's not going to happen. This is the European, not the CFS. CFS extend it. If we were to take a look, well, it's not really showing us. Look at our 850 millibars as we get into December. Holy smokes, that's cold. December 1st, look at all the way through December. You guys see that funnel out east? Crazy. All the way through Christmas time. Look at this. This is our 850 millibar layer. The CFS is updated, guys. It's on board with the Euro now. Interesting. Definitely interesting. Here's our 32-day snow total expectation, by the way. So this is, this is our 32-day up to December 26th. I wonder what our ensemble thinks here. See what our ensemble thinks. Oh, that's the 06Z. Whatever, we'll push back here. Pretty aggressive, though. 46-day totals, 32-day totals. Yeah, 46-day totals. Here's our 32-day expectation from the European ensemble. European extended ensemble. So where it thinks we could get a little bit of snow on the ground before December 12th. Think Minnesota will get more snow this year? Yeah, Minnesota will probably be above average. Most parts of it. Are we going to get snow in New Jersey? Like I said, I don't expect frequent snowstorms through the mid-Atlantic or coastal New England, but I expect 1 or 2 major snowstorms out there. So I think you'll hit your averages or be above average snow because of that. I think Northern Plains, upper Midwest, New England are going to see frequent clippers. Not as many major snowstorms, but especially the Northern Plains and upper Midwest, frequent clippers as we get into December. Buffalo White Christmas is a great pattern for that, yeah. I think your odds are pretty good. What's Montana looking like? Montana, I would almost consider a little bit of a battleground state, but right now Montana's looking pretty good for this winter. Above average precipitation, I'd say especially western Montana, above average precipitation. Below average, most of the state, above average precipitation, below average temperatures right now being projected for Montana, so not bad. You know, northern states typically fare better than southern states and anomaly-wise in a La Nina. Any severe weather this weekend? Listen, everything was pointing towards a big severe weather event this Saturday, and we got a cutoff low. We went from looking like we could have an enhanced to moderate severe weather threat this Saturday to pretty much the timing. I spoke about this in my video. If it slows down or speeds up, it could change the severe weather and the timing. The timing looks like it's off now. We may end up with nothing this weekend. No severe weather at all. Just a bunch of thunder showers. Just because the timing's a little off between our shortwave trough to the south and our jet stream to the north. Your timing's 12 hours off. Nothing's going to happen. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Looking good. That severe weather downtrend We're probably going to have snow in northern New York. Northern New York's going to fare pretty well this winter, yeah, with snow. Expected to. White Christmas for Indianapolis. Listen, it's a great outlook for White Christmas odds in Indianapolis. It is. 31 degrees here in Baton Rouge. Too cold for the Gators. Yeah, that's crazy. That is actually wild. So crazy. Yeah, I wonder what your feels like is. Like, yeah, we're 30s across the entire state of Louisiana. Mid to low 30s. Nashville, Middle Tennessee. You guys are expected to have above average precipitation and potentially below average temperatures in December. So you could see, you're going to have your opportunities for snow in December for sure with this setup this year. What's Utah looking like? Utah's going to have some good snow moving into it next week. Some cooler temperatures and snow return to the Utah mountains. Maybe even some low elevation snow next week back into Utah. For December, we'll see. Arizona, Utah, Nevada, California may trend warmer in December. But at least at the beginning of December, NOAA has it below average temperatures out there. So NOAA likes a pretty good start to December for you guys out in Utah. Wintry weather-wise. New York City. I don't expect you guys to see many snowstorms this year, but I expect you to see one or two big ones that gets you to your average or above average snow. Listen, I'm okay with the weather not doing anything this weekend. I have a birthday party. Yeah, hold off. All right. Yes, sorry, I got something in my eye. I gotta take a few more questions here. Cold temperatures for Christmas in Florida. That's the one area. I don't know. Southern Georgia, central to southern Alabama, central to southern Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, eastern North Carolina could trend warmer and drier for December. Not for the entire December, but for a decent portion of it, yeah. There are weak La Nina events that push a lot of cold air into Florida. I don't think this is one of them, but we'll see. It's possible. Well, Southeast Georgia gets snow this winter. Again, a weak La Nina and a phase 8, phase 1 MJO phase that looks like we're going to be pushing into December, January doesn't favor very wintry weather down there in southeastern Georgia and Florida. Not that it's impossible. It just doesn't favor it. Is Connecticut going to get a bad winter? I think you guys will hit your snow averages at least, maybe slightly above average. The MJO Phase 8 looks very cold in Connecticut for December, by the way. It's 37 degrees in Palladium, Florida. Yeah, it's freezing in Florida down there right now. Look at it. 30s and 40s statewide. Yep. It was even colder this morning, earlier in the morning. Is North Carolina getting snow? Well, let's look at what's going on with our snow currently. We've still got some snow moving through portions of northeastern Illinois, just central to southwestern Michigan, northwestern Indiana. Snow funneling up in through portions of Cleveland, northeastern Ohio, central, northern, western PA, most of upstate New York, and then getting into the mountains up there, up into the Adirondacks and up through New Hampshire, or Vermont, sorry. Snow for North Carolina this winter. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a winter battleground zone for North Carolina, for sure. I think Charlotte will hit its average, though. If not a little bit more. All right, hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Okay. All right. Upper East Tennessee. Above average precipitation, below average temperatures expected for November, or December. So at least a cold start to winter and potentially snowy start to winter looks possible. The White Christmas looks possible. Some years it doesn't look great. This year it looks pretty good. The odds are in your favor. Dude, I'm freezing here. Yeah, it says everyone in the states, except like most of the states is seeing well below average temperatures right now. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. You got blues everywhere. Very, very cold. It's funny down here. You've got, it's 49 in Miami. Okay, the temperature just went up. But it was 49 in Miami, and you get 70 degrees over in the Bahamas. I do got to get ready for work, guys. I appreciate all of you. I know Here, let me answer a few more questions before I get off. Let me speed run. I haven't done a speed run of answering questions in a while. All right, shoot them at me. Northern Arizona for snow. I would say over the next 2 weeks, you have a decent chance to maybe get some high elevation, maybe low elevation snow in Arizona, although weak La Nina in our setup doesn't favor a super wintry Arizona this year. Not that it can't happen, but doesn't favor it. Will Indiana have bad snow? Indiana could have a pretty good winter season if you like snow this year. Southern Illinois as well. I think Southern Illinois could do okay. You guys may be on the edge of that winter battleground zone, though. Meaning you could get a little bit of a mixture in ice instead of snow with some of these storms. Chicago, yeah, I expect above average snow in Chicago this winter. Yes, I do. Kansas City, Missouri, I'd put you in the winter battleground zone this year. Meaning I don't think it's going to be a super warm and dry winter for you, but I'm not going to say that I expect you to have above average snow, but it's not impossible. I put you in the winter battleground zone there. Winter outlook for Indianapolis, I'd expect above average snow, below average temperatures for Indianapolis. Pretty wintry winter. Nashville's kind of in a winter battleground zone, although you are expected to have above average precipitation through the winter months. So I think the odds are in your favor of Nashville for at least getting average to slightly above average snow. Nebraska, I have most of Nebraska in a winter battleground zone. I think Omaha could do good because I think eastern Nebraska is going to do better than western Nebraska. So Omaha specifically, eastern, northeastern, really east central Nebraska, I think could do pretty good this winter. Are we toast? I don't know where you are. East Texas. Texas in general could do pretty decent. East Texas specifically, Texarkana and around that area could see above average precipitation, potentially below average temperatures this winter. But again, La Nina's favored northern states for cold and snowier anomalies than southern states. Philadelphia winter outlook, I think you guys will beat your average. I think you guys will get 20 plus inches of snow this year. Not from a bunch of snowstorms, from 1 or 2 big nor'easters or 1 or 2 big winter storms. Northern Kentucky winter outlook. I think Northern Kentucky will do pretty well this winter. If you like winter, I think Northern Kentucky will do pretty well. I do, especially Northern Kentucky. Colorado, a little bit of a battleground zone for me. I think Colorado will hit average temperatures and potentially, I mean, I have you guys as like average temperatures, average snow. There's going to be opportunities for big pushes of snow like we're going to get here in the next couple of weeks. You could get dumped on in the mountains of Colorado and potentially even out in the eastern plains. But as a winter, I expect it to be somewhat average, which isn't bad. Colorado has a pretty good winter. The average winter is pretty good. Minnesota, I expect below average temperatures and above average snow for pretty much all of Minnesota, including Minneapolis. What about North Carolina? North Carolina, I think Charlotte's going to hit their average because listen, nor'easters can put a lot of snow into inner North Carolina as well. So with me thinking 1 or 2 nor'easters is possible, I think you could get your average across North Carolina. A little bit of a battleground zone, western North Carolina, a little bit of a winter battleground zone this winter, though. I don't think it's going to be super hot, super dry. I think that's going to be kind of a little bit south of you guys. I think this is going to be kind of the chokehold. I think western North Carolina is a battleground zone. It could do okay. Will it snow for Thanksgiving in Indiana? I don't know. I mean, end of November, we are expecting a big drop of cold air and an active storm track through the Midwest. So actually, maybe. It actually could. We'll see. Someone's going to get snow probably out east on Thanksgiving. Yeah, Random Cowboy. Thanks for the cowboy hat, Gemini. Okay, guys. I have to get off. I appreciate everyone. First time in here. I live stream every morning to do this. I make posts every morning. You can go check out my full winter forecast or December forecast and winter forecast on my YouTube. If you want to join the Climate Crew, be a part of an awesome weather community and get live weather updates and information every single day, go to any video description, any of my videos on YouTube in the descriptions, the link to my Discord. You can join. It's an awesome place. Become a part of the Climate Crew. I'll see you in there. I'll be able to talk to you in there off stream. Mons, I appreciate you. I appreciate the follow, guys. Gifts, just being in here, engaging, helping the algorithm. We love the algorithm, right? Everyone have a great day. What is it, Tuesday? Ugh. Have a great Tuesday. We're almost to hump day. We're almost to the hump. Yeah, okay. Love you all. Bye.